This episode is brought to you by Starry. When you drink Starry Lemon Lime Soda, every sip is a win. Perfect for game time or anytime. It's a crisp, refreshing lemon lime soda that's caffeine-free and bursting with flavor that makes you go, ah. Starry hits different. Find it in stores or online today. This episode is brought to you by Tinder. Cuffing season is in full effect, which makes Tinder the place to be right now. There's a new wave of folks coming back to the app ready to find love, fun, or just a new friend. And if you're worried about never meeting up with your matches IRL, don't be. 1.5 million Tinder users go on dates in person every week. Explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder. It starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today.
And welcome to Unequal Sequel.
Extra!
First extra of the new year, Rich. How you feeling?
Yeah, all right actually. My back isn't too bad today. Like I've been complaining about my back on the podcast a lot, I feel like. But yeah, it's not too bad today.
The drugs are working then?
They are starting to, I think. So yeah, that's a good sign.
Oh, good. Well, I'm happy for you. How was your New Year? How was Christmas?
Yeah, it was lovely, mate. Yeah, it was all nice. Yeah, it was nice family time. You know, like Christmas always is. You know, my body fat index is like 60% cheddar. Like, yeah, I think I need to go on a health kick now. Well, as soon as the last of the Christmas cake and stuff is gone, then hammer it on some healthy times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put on a stone over Christmas.
I wouldn't be surprised if I'd done the same.
So I'm mainly chocolates and cakes and cheese and ham and meat.
I've got so much cheese, it's ridiculous.
Cheese is great though.
I just got a lot of cheese to get through.
And we're back to watching movies.
Yeah, I've watched quite a lot of movies because, you know, my wife goes to bed a lot earlier than I do, and because I've not had work to get up for, I've been staying up late and watching lots of movies.
Anything good?
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom, amazing, absolutely loved it. Like completely and utterly fell in love with it. I don't like musicals normally, and this might be a turning point for me because I absolutely loved that movie. And
why did you love it so much? I mean,
I don't know.
It's great.
It just got me right in the feels. I think it's just exactly the right time for me to watch it. You know, I just kind of it was sad and happy and beautiful and frustrating all at the same time. And
oh man,
I actually like the songs. Like that doesn't happen in musicals I've watched in the past. I'm like, oh my god. Probably helps that Andrew Garfield can actually sing as well. Like sometimes, like Sweeney Todd, which is another musical I've watched, and Johnny Depp cannot sing. Like his singing voice is terrible. That kind of turns me off straight away. Rock of Ages I tried to watch because I thought, it's a rock musical, it should be okay. But then, like, some of the singing in that is awful, and I only got about 10 minutes into that. To be honest, with Tick Tick Boom, it took me 2 goes. I turned it on, and then about a minute in, I was like, no, I can't do it. It's a musical. I'm not going to watch it. And I was like, no, don't be stupid. Come back to it the next day. Give it a watch. And honestly, I was hooked. I loved it.
You're a semi-film critic now, Rich. So
semi-film critic.
Which moves us along nicely onto what we're doing today. First film of the year. We know it came out in 2021, but we were both busy, so we thought we'd ease everyone into this one. So we are talking and reviewing Matrix Resurrections.
Yes, we are. And I would like to say off the top, it's nice to get my worst film of the year out of the way in January.
Well, this is 2021 film, so let's just save it for that.
Okay, all right. We'll pretend we'll call it a 21 film then, even though I watched it in 2022.
And I always have to... I've been looking forward to asking you this question, which is, can you tell us the plot?
Probably not, is the answer. because I'm not sure it's really got one. The plot is it's sort of similar to the first one, but not. So yeah, Neo is back in the Matrix somehow. We'll maybe spoil that later when we get into spoilers. Give you a big warning.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's about how he's learning to get out and use his powers and do all that shit again. You might be better at doing the plot on this one, Dave, because I'm not enthusiastic in this movie whatsoever.
I love the fact that you can't even describe the plots. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. Where I'm going to get you to start, because I feel like you're going to come in hot straight away.
Yeah.
So first of all, you're not a fan of the Matrix films, are you?
No, I'm not a massive fan of the Matrix films. The first one's all right. It wasn't mind blowing like everyone else found it. I didn't find it mind blowing for me. Weirdly, there's a bit in this film where it's quite self referential, and there's someone going, I know you guys all loved it, but I didn't find the first one that great. They're talking about a video
that
game,
guy.
but I'm that guy. I'm
Okay.
like, I'm really sorry. I know everyone loves this movie. I wasn't all that on board. However, it is way better than the sequels. So the original Matrix is way better than the sequels that followed it. And the sequels that followed it are way better than this turd that I just watched.
Okay. Because on this podcast, we've got a history with the Matrix sequels. They brought up a lot for being the most disappointing sequels we've watched.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing myself for this, Rich. So the floor is yours. Tell us what you thought.
So I've talked before about when I've gone to the cinema, and I'm not someone who leaves a movie halfway through. I stick it to the end even though I'm hating it. However, I genuinely could say that if I hadn't gone to watch this movie for this podcast, I would have left after an hour. Because my back was really hurting. I thought, why am I putting myself through this pain? This movie is not worth staying and watching. It's laughably bad. Like, it's like someone took The Matrix and thought, we'll make a parody of The Matrix and somehow turn it into a kind of Richard Curtis rom-com, but without the romance or the comedy. Like, it's awful. I cannot think of a nice thing to say about it. And I don't like that, because I don't like absolutely hating on movies, but I can't think of anything I liked about it at all. Like, there are stupid things in it. I mean, I don't, obviously, are we allowed to spoil? Are we going to say spoilers, Dave? Are we going to give people a warning?
I think we should do spoilers. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. I think it's safe to say. So people, if you haven't seen Matrix Resurrections and you don't want to know what happens, then stop listening now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's very self-referential. It's almost a movie in 3 parts. So it was like the first act, second act, and then the last act.
That's good, right?
I mean, that is a standard structure for a movie, yes.
Yeah, okay.
The first act is essentially taking the piss out of Matrix being the film even existing in the first place. So the first act is all about how we're going to remake this game that Neo has designed called The Matrix. And isn't it funny that we're going to... Well, you know. Same bloody person. Thomas Anderson, Neo, Mr. Anderson. Yeah, so, yeah, how is it ridiculous that we're making this 4th part of this trilogy game that nobody wants, nobody asked for, nobody needed, and how they make it, you know, it's all that self-referential bullshit that's supposed to be funny and wasn't funny. That's the first act. But there's also this weird kind of rom-com-y stuff of Neo seeing Trinity, kind of recognising Trinity, called Tiffany at this point, not Trinity. And yeah, his kind of unrequited kind of feelings for her. And yeah, just stupid stuff. I mean, literally, like I say, that's about the first hour, and I probably would have left after that. I would, yeah, that's when I want to leave. The second part is Neo kind of, the second part is the first movie again. So Neo wakes up, takes the red pill, ends up disconnecting from the Matrix, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it all before. although it's even more self-referential, there is a point where someone goes, "You know what we need?" And Keanu goes, "Bullet time." We're like, fuck off. Like, it's literally like, just fuck off. That's for no one in that movie. No character gives a shit about that. You didn't have bullet time in the second and third one, so it's not obviously a long abandoned thing. This is just a call back to the first one to appease the fans that have gone, "Where's the bullet time?" I mean, I know you're one of them, Dave, so I'm sorry, but yeah. That was almost like he should have held up like a sign like Bugs Bunny with an arrow on it and gone, "Ding, ding, ding, bullet time, look, see, look what we did, And it was rubbish. It was rubbish. Loads of like characters that had come back but were different people. So obviously,
it got a bit confusing. That
very confusing. So Jada Pinkett Smith is back but old, like been aged, and is the leader of the resistance.
Yeah, it's been 60 years since the first Matrix,
and it turns out that the reason that Neo and Trinity are back in the Matrix is because they're essentially clones of themselves, right? They've been remade by the machines, which again was kind of baffling. Of like, if they can clone people, why do they need people in the first place? Like, why do they need the human race when they can just clone people to make batteries out of them? What's the point?
Fair point.
Yeah, ridiculous. So Jonathan Groff, who is Agent Smith.
That's a big reveal and doesn't really do anything. Doesn't really matter.
Well, there's no point to it. Why is he Agent Smith? What's the point? Could be anyone.
I thought he was quite fun though, as him. I thought he was all right.
But there's also a point where Morpheus is also Agent Smith. He's Morpheus / Agent Smith. Like, there's a whole discussion about that. I'm like, who is? What the fuck is going on here? Who is who? I still don't understand what the point of actually having bullets are. Because they don't do anything. No one gets hit by one. And if they do, it's the Matrix. And it's all imaginary, essentially. So bullets mean nothing. I don't know. None of it makes any sense. Christina Ricci pops up at one point, which I quite liked. That's a positive for you. I think she's good.
and then swiftly disappears again.
And then never see her again. Yeah, she's in it for all of 3 minutes, and that's it.
I found the first hour quite clunky, especially when they were naming like Warner Brothers and stuff.
Yeah,
and the whole thing's very meta, isn't it? Isn't this smart? I was like, well, this feels very Space Jam 2. Very
much. It was so self-referential. It was almost a parody of itself, essentially. And that's what that's kind of what made me want to leave. Is that I'm not up for scary movie Matrix. You know, like if I wanted to watch a parody of the Matrix, I'd watch a parody of the Matrix. This isn't what I was signed up for. And it does get a bit better, I suppose. The third act is a bit better. But then what really pisses me off about the third act is that the trailer tells you what's going to happen. So Neo makes a big thing about not having all his powers. He can't fly, for example. And then you know what's going to end up. Trinity and Neo end up on a roof surrounded. And we know what happens because it's in the trailer. They fucking jump off. Like, we've seen it. And the big reveal, which I whoop-de-doo, it's Trinity who can fly, not Neo. Well, who cares, honestly? Like, I could have seen that one coming. Like, you may as well telegraph that 6 months ago, mate.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of it, really. Neil Patrick Harris is the baddie, the analyst. Didn't work for me at all. You know, he looks like Brains from Thunderbirds with his big blue glasses on.
Yeah,
I didn't get him. I mean, he's quite sinister. I'll give him that. He can be sinister, but he was almost too smirky to feel evil. Yeah, I don't think I enjoyed any of it, really.
I think you've got notes, Rich, and I'm very impressed.
I haven't got notes. No, I haven't. This is off the top of my head. I'm just looking at IMDb at the moment and going, is there anyone else who I thought was all right?
Yeah, how did you think Keanu was?
The most wooden I've ever seen him ever, and that's saying something. Like, dialed in would be what I would say. Like, you know, They may as well have
Okay.
CGI'd him for all the emotion that he showed.
Yeah. I listened back to our Matrix spoiler trailer special thing,
Mm.
and in it, you wanted this film to have more heart, less action, and to say something different.
None of that.
No, I think it had a bit more heart than.
Do you? Do you really?
I was there for the Neo Trinity love story. That's the thing that kept me engaged.
I thought it was a terrible fucking love story, though. That's the problem. It's that it's like the whole point of that. Okay, so the big reveal is basically that the reason they regenerated Neo and Trinity is because they somehow generate more energy when they're next to each other. It's like love fucking conquers all kind of thing, and yeah, fair enough. That's a very nice message, isn't it? That works in a rom-com, but it's not a rom-com, is it? And when I say more heart, I mean I want to feel something. I don't want mush. Like that's not what I meant by heart. I don't know.
Yeah, you text me when I come out of it. It's like, I want to know what you think,
Yeah.
and I said, well, I have no ill feelings towards it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you thought that meant as I liked it.
Well, I thought you meant, yeah. Well, no, I didn't take it as you like it. I took it as you didn't hate it, whereas I absolutely hated it. It is.
I think it's largely forgettable. I think it panders to the fans of the second and third more than the first one. I think there's nothing that makes this one stand out at all. There's no memorable set pieces. Even in the second and third one, there's stuff in there you think, oh, the car chase in the second one, the fight at the chateau in the second one, even the attack on Zion is pretty memorable. And then you watch this one and you think, there's nothing there. There's no meat on the bones.
They're not even fighting the machines anymore, are they? Really? Because they're friends with them. Like some of the machines are their friends now.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and they're a nice smiley blue machines instead of just red-eyed ones that look scary. You know, like what the. What's the point? What's the point of any of it?
Well, that is what I was thinking this morning. I was like, what was the point of it?
No idea.
No idea. I've read things now that they don't plan. This was never planned to be more than this one. The producers
Thank
are like,
God.
no, that's it for now. Or that was that story. They have left it open again for further adventures.
They shouldn't. They should leave this well alone now. Seriously.
I really liked the music. I thought the music was great. I really liked the beginning when you know the Matrixy sound starts. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And it never really got going for me. And it took 2.5 hours. And like you said, the first hour I found was clunky. And then we repeat ourselves and they try and be smart about it. Like the Morpheus character, who I'm not quite sure is Morpheus. It's just
it's a program, isn't it?
He's just yada yada yada. You know all this. And then we see the fight in another dojo. And then there's the whole Smith storyline with Jonathan Groff, which I thought he was really cool as. I really enjoyed his character.
I like him. I liked him as an actor. You know,
the character didn't go anywhere.
I like a lot of the actors actually, but it just didn't feel like anything. Like it just
it was a bit soulless. Like I don't think I hate this film, but I don't think I'm going to think of this film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think, Rich, it's going to be one of those films you think, oh, I can't be as bad as I remember it, and we keep going back to it.
No, not for me. I think maybe because I was in quite a lot of pain for my back, and I was kind of, I think what made it worse is the fact that I sat in the cinema in an uncomfortable seat in pain. And I thought, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I could be at home laid on the sofa watching The Last Duel. You know, why am I here?
Oh my God. So there's literally nothing. Literally nothing. You can't think of any positives.
I genuinely can't think of anything.
No, because there's no, when I say think about an action set piece, there's a bit on a train, which it doesn't do anything new. If you're bringing back the Matrix,
it's a bit I can't even remember the bit on the train. Like when you said there's a bit on a train, and I was thinking, oh yeah, there's a bit on a train. And I was like, no, that's Book of Boba Fett. that I watched before I went.
They're in Japan. They're on a train. And do you think it's clever how they?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
You don't look impressed by that at all.
It was shit. Sorry.
They've got rid of phones. Now you use mirrors and doors.
Yeah.
Improvement or?
No. I mean, I didn't even notice. Like, it's like, yeah, they go through a mirror, and I was like, oh, this mirror's quite small. How are we going to fit? Like, you just do. just do it. Like, all right then.
Bloody hell, guys.
Yeah. There's one character I really hated. I think he's called Jude, and he's like Neo's mate, basically. But it turns out he's a program just designed to handle him. I was like, this guy can get in the bin.
As a person and an actor.
Well, maybe not the actor. I don't want to be too harsh on someone's acting, but the character can get in the bin. Yeah.
Do you know what I found was weird when they brought back Merovingian, whatever his name is, the weird French guy?
That took me a while to figure out who he was as well.
Any idea what he was saying?
No, not a clue. Basically, some tramps turned up at one point and had a fight, and I had no idea why.
Because they're programs that have been exiled, Rich.
Right. Okay.
And I think.
How do programs grow facial hair?
Well, it's
or get dirty? What the fuck?
Well, honestly, Rich, I still don't actually understand what was going on for most of it.
No,
but
me neither.
I'm one of those people that don't really buy into the second and third films.
No.
Deep theories and
Is
thoughts.
it deep? I don't think it's that deep. I think it's going, isn't this fucking clever? Hey. But, like, it's not deep. It doesn't make you think. It doesn't go, oh, what if? The first Matrix, it does make you go, what if we are all living in a simulation?
Yeah, that's cool.
That is pretty cool. But once you've thought that, so what? There's no more deep thought about this movie. There's nothing about this movie that's kind of meaningful.
Yeah.
Nothing that other movies haven't said 10 times better.
Yeah.
There's nothing about this movie that, Blade Runner doesn't do better in terms of dealing with AI. There isn't anything in this movie that, any fucking decent love story does better than this. There isn't anything in this movie that makes you think beyond anything else I've ever seen. It's just...
I am a little bit disappointed you didn't enjoy the love story. I thought Carrie-Anne Moss was nice. It was nice seeing her replay.
Do you know what was nice? I thought of a positive, actually.
Finally.
I thought it was nice that we had a woman who is the same age as like her male counterpart. The love story was actually two people of appropriate age for each other, and it wasn't an old man and a young girl. I liked that. I liked that Carrie-Anne Moss came back as Trinity, and that was the strong love story. Because listen up, young people, old people fall in love too.
Shut up.
Yeah, it happens. So yeah, that's a positive.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
So you don't think they should have gone back to the well? You should, because the Matrix, the third one, ends in quite a nice place. That that Neo's stopped Smith. They've made a compromise with the robots that the people who want to be let out are let out. He's kind of the Jesus kind of figure. He disappears in those circumstances. And then bringing this back, you think, they must do something clever, or there must be a purpose. And
there's nothing clever. Nothing clever.
No purpose either. It's just the most... It's very forgettable. It's kind of going to remind me of Beverly Hills Cop 3. I'm not going to think of it when I think of the first two films.
I'm going to think of it because it's in my list of worst sequels. So it's there now. So yeah.
I'm going to ask the questions now.
Mm-hmm.
Unequal sequel, yes or no, and rating, Rich.
I don't know if it's unequal or not, because I didn't like the third one either. So if we're comparing it to the first Matrix movie, then it's definitely unequal. If we're comparing it to 3, then I don't think it's even as good as 3. Unequal, because I think it's the worst of the 4.
And out of 7?
None. 0.
Wow.
I'm not giving
Zero.
it anything. Yeah, nothing. It's not worth anything. I'm not even giving it half a star. It's not even as good as Home Sweet Home Alone. I'd rather watch Home Sweet Home Alone again than watch this.
You see, out of the two people who were going into this film, I thought you would have been the more positive one because you're not a fan of it. You're like,
Me too, because I will stick up for the Wachowskis every time because I think the stuff they make looks beautiful, and I guess if I'm searching for positives, the cinematography is nice in places. Like there are shots that are nice in this movie, but there's nothing that warrants giving it anything. Honestly, like
okay.
I hate being this guy. I hate being this guy because I don't like not finding the good in something. But I genuinely,
especially people directors you like.
I know, but I genuinely didn't like anything about it at all.
This was only Lana, wasn't it?
It was only Lana, yeah.
Okay, and the fight team didn't come back, or Bill Pope didn't do the cinematography. A lot of the people that make Matrix weren't in the crew, and it kind of tells. To be honest, it does look, and I like the sound of it. I like the music. I didn't have a problem with that.
It sort of felt a bit dated, actually. Like
it didn't feel like a film from 2021, 2022, no. And I don't think the box office is going to help it. It was released at awful time. Like you couldn't pick a worse time. Like a new variant of COVID just dropped, and everyone got told not to go anywhere. And there was a lot of like, what if that? What if this? And the infection numbers are ridiculously high, especially in the UK. Because we're COVID capital of the world, I think. Woo. Well, what a nice.
Another thing to be proud of.
Yeah. I would give it 2.5 stars.
Wow, okay. That's
possibly even 3 out of 7. You know.
Wow. Okay. What did you like about it then, Dave?
For me, it was such a middle of the road film. Everything was just okay, but when you think Matrix to me, unlike you, is like high tier. It's in my top tier of movies. The 2 and 3 are not, and I am one of those people that loves the action and less of the theories and whatever.
Yeah.
And this relies. At one point, I think they take the piss out of people who like the action more than.
Yeah, I think they do actually, don't they?
Which I felt quite insulted about.
It does sort of seek to insult the fans as well, doesn't it? It's like, it does kind of like sort of say, yeah, all you people that like this shit, you're all wrong.
It does a little bit, but I think this is one of the films. If you're fans of The Matrix 2 and 3, I think you're going to love this. If you're fans of the theory, the whole series, you're going to love this. If you're the fans of just the first one, possibly not. But then there's little bits of the first one, but the action's just never as good.
No. See, I like the first one. There was a chance to be won over on this, but nah.
Oh, well, what a start to the year then.
I've got it out of the way. My one and only zero star movie. I've got it out of the way early.
Well, let's wrap up and tell them what's next.
Well, we've got a lovely interview episode coming out on Monday, so make sure that you listen to that. And if you haven't listened already, go back and listen to Monday's episode just gone with Ian Nathan, because that is brilliant. It's almost like Dave and I's perfect podcast because we didn't have to talk very much.
It's like
wound Ian up and let him go. And he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. If you are at all interested in James Cameron or in any of those kind of big movie directors, then Ian is your man, because he knows a lot. Peter Jackson, he's sort of friends with, and some really good stories in that one. So if you're interested in movies and how they're made and the personalities behind them, definitely listen to that episode. It's a great episode. And come back on Monday. Won't tell you who's on yet, but you'll be able to find out. Have a listen. Keep an eye on Twitter, at Unequal Sequel on Twitter, at Unequal Sequel on Instagram. Dave will get on there and let everyone know what's happening, what's coming. The Sunday you normally do, don't you?
I do that on a Sunday when I remember what day it is, because at the moment I'm a bit confused.
You can also send us an email if you want to. We're at unequalsequel@hotmail.com. And just like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. You can rate us on Spotify now. If you're a Spotify premium member, I think. I think you have to be a Spotify premium member, I think.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, if you can, give us a 5 stars on Spotify, that'd be lovely. Yeah, we're starting to hit charts and things, aren't we? So good. We noticed we're in the Good Pods chart now, so that's nice. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've got nothing more to say than carry on listening. Thank you for listening. Especially over Christmas, I know it's a quiet period, and hope you didn't miss us too much. We had a tiny bit of a break, which was much needed, to be honest.
Yeah,
and we will be back for the next 5 weeks of Series 2.
yeah. Woohoo!
And they're all cracking. And that's a bye-bye from me. Bye-bye. A bye-bye from him.
Bye!
Have a good week. See you next time. Bye.